Do you live ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
Welcome in. It is Hoist the Colors on a brand new Monday. This time next week, we'll be learning the field of 64 for the college baseball tournament. Will East Carolina be in it? We don't know for sure, but ECU did help their chances this past weekend by sweeping Florida Atlantic and winning a share of the regular season championship. We'll tell you what that means as far as the at-large picture. We'll get into that discussion. We'll also recap the Pirates sweep their first road series win in well over a year and really just took care of business, especially in games 2 and 3 after winning a crucial Thursday night game against what was a red-hot FAU team. So we'll get into that. The tournament bracket is set. ECU is the 2 seed, UTSA the 1 seed. Pirates will not have to play again until Friday morning, which means an early watch-along for us. We'll discuss that as well. And we will be joined by Coach Godwin, East Carolina head coach, in segment 2. He'll sit down with us live from Florida. They're kind of in between stations right now after finishing up in Boca. They're going to go over to Clearwater later this week. They're going to have some downtime, so we'll catch up with Cliff, get the latest on the injury front, and also his team's regular season title as they share it with UTSA. Philip Pilkington, he is back in the 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, it is, we've had our ups and downs this year covering this team. We saw another up this past weekend. I don't know how realistic we thought it would be that we'd be talking about, a share of a championship today. And we'll get more into what that means as far as the at-large picture in segment 3. But you got to credit the team. And I know some have kind of, thumbed their noses at a share of a title. But at the end of the day, it still matters. And I think it says a lot that this program still found a way to at least get to this point in what has been a very roller coaster season.
Yeah, and it was the way they did it this weekend. Look, they finally put 3 solid games together away from Clark LeClaire Stadium, right? That's not saying the season is complete or the team is complete, but it was one of the things that was kind of a monkey on your back, and you were able to get that off. And look, man, I think we've come on here. I definitely have questioned the heart of this team, and I'm not saying I'm ready to go completely the other way, but they showed it this weekend, right? Let's hope it's not a blimp on the radar, but with their backs against the wall for one of the goals that they did set for themselves at the beginning of the season, they pulled through. Now, did they need some luck? Sure. And luckily for them, that luck happened. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they don't take care of business. They took care of business. We talked about it on Friday, just with that post-game Ryan Towers interview. And, if everybody, we said, walked through life and walked into that clubhouse with their head in the same place as Ryan Towers, everybody in the world would be pretty damn successful. So I think they had the Ryan Towers mindset the rest of the weekend, and let's hope they can keep it going.
Lane Smith is already in the chat. He says, I was right about UTSA. I was almost right about UTSA. He says, yeah, he did call for a UTSA sweep at the hands of UAB, that the Blazers would sweep them. UAB did win 2 out of 3. I mean, the last 2 games of those series were they were basically football scores. It turned into home run derby. I actually turned on some of the Saturday game leading into the ECU game, and both those teams can absolutely mash. But yeah, I mean, you'll take an ECU sweep and a second consecutive UTSA series loss. I mean, we were looking after the Rice game on Saturday, the second game of that series. ECU had lost the Rice. They had lost the series. I think UTSA had won the Friday night game against Memphis, or they at least won one of the first 2 games, and it was just looking very bleak as far as any share of a regular season title. So even to get to this point, as much as ECU earned it with 4 consecutive wins, UTSA also kind of crashed and burned and may have cost themselves an at-large too. Lane adding, if this team could have beat Rice and Memphis one more time, that would have been nice, or beaten UTSA in that Sunday game. If they hold on there, don't blow that lead. If you don't blow the Rice lead in the 9th inning, I mean, you're feeling absolutely great today. JPN 1212 says Godwin finally coached like postseason mode. I do want to get into some takeaways from this weekend. Keep the comments coming. We'll read those as we do. And I've got several, Philip, but we'll start with, maybe pushing the right buttons. CG just had kind of had a knack for it all weekend. And look, so when the players execute, it makes him look like a genius. When they get out, everybody's mad. When he would pinch hit Kalinic for Bachman early on in the series, people were questioning what he was doing. Obviously, you're playing the matchups, righty-lefty. And then, obviously, the DH spot. Irby pinch hit for Boucher after he doubled to open a game because they brought in a right-handed pitcher. And that worked out because Irby comes up, gets an RBI single. So I thought all the buttons Cliff pushed this weekend were the right ones. Helps that the guys worked out. But I think that moving forward, look, and I tweeted this out, Philip, but you're still limited from a roster standpoint due to the injuries. But you can play the margins. You can play the matchup, especially this time of year, to give yourself any advantage. All these aren't going to work all the time, but if you hit one or two of these a game, that could swing a game in a tournament format. And I feel like the emergence of Kalinic, obviously, as a pinch hitter, Bachman, Irby kind of accepting this team role. Boucher can step up at any time, give you a big hit. I feel like this is a pretty big development.
It is, yeah. And look, this weekend, it seems like every decision Cliff Godwin made worked to perfection. Like you said, it's not going to go 100% that way at all times. But what it is doing is it is proving that you've got more than just 9 guys that can be in this roster. And it also proves that if you do have a pinch hit in a really late game situation in the postseason, that you at least trust the guy. Is he going to go out there and get the hit every time? No. But you can justifiably trust guys in those situations, guys who haven't seen a pitch since batting practice 2.5, 3 hours ago, to come in and give you a quality AB. And you let the chips fall where they may. So, as this being, managed like a postseason game, it felt 100% like it was managed like a postseason thing. But, you can make the argument that we are playing postseason baseball already because of the conversation that we are going to have in our third segment about did they give themselves another opportunity for an at-large. The fact that we're even having this conversation is because they won 3 games, and had they not treated it like postseason baseball and they not won all 3 games, I don't know what segment 3 would be about today, but hey, there's no reason to speculate because guess what? It's about the at-large picture.
Michael Kalinic, Philip, has 20 hits this season. You may already know the answer to this, but how many extra base hits do you feel like he has amongst those 20?
Extra base hits, man. He's got 4 or 5 home runs, I think. And I want to say he's got double that in doubles. So we're going to go 12. 60% are extra base hits.
You're selling him a little short on the home run. Your overall number is very close, I should say. 13 extra base hits. He's got 6 doubles and 7 home runs.
Wow.
So, it's power. And he's racked up the home runs. He went to dead center, I think, on Saturday. All these games run together. But dead center of the 400-foot sign. Nothing cheap about that one. And then Bachman is crushing left-handers, especially lefties that throw strikes. He's pretty aggressive at the plate. So I just feel like that's your play moving forward. The other thing is, and I asked Cliff this later. We can get into it. He's not afraid to go to this in the 3rd, 4th inning. And that can be somewhat of a risky proposition because then if you're burning those moves then, let's say the 7th, 8th comes around, Kalinic is coming up, the other team can bring in their best lefty reliever, so to speak, to try to take him on. I guess the counter to that, and he kind of hit on it later, is Hakame is getting closer to swinging a bat, so you could go to a righty there. Sabater also available off the bench as another lefty. So at least there are some options there, but I do like that, hey, if it's bases loaded, 2 outs in the 4th inning, and the other team brings in a righty to face Bachman, you go to Kalinic there and don't even wait around. Because, that can decide the game too, along with something in the 7th inning.
Look, man, we say it with every sport, right, Steven? 4, 5, 6 plays in a football game. 4, 5, 6 at-bats in a baseball game are going to decide the game. As to when those fall, you will never know until the game ends. You can't look back into the 4th inning and the 6th inning and say, hey, this is where this game turned. But after the 9th inning, you sure as hell can. And look, yeah, could it bite you in the rear end later? Maybe. But if you didn't make the move then, would you even be in that situation, come another 4 innings from now? So, yeah, man, hindsight's going to be 20/20 on every single decision that he makes when it's something like this. If it works out great, he's Connie Mack. And if it works out bad, he's whoever the worst manager in the history of baseball is. But, It's something that Cliff he is going to go down fighting. And if this is his mindset of how he's going to go down fighting, I'm okay with it. I'm ready. I'm on board. I'm on board with this pinch hit thing. Yeah, it can seem a little early, but like you said, if bases loaded, if somebody hits a grand slam, man, he's the manager of the century.
Other standouts for me from the weekend, Colby Wallace had 8 hits over 3 games and his first save of the season. Comes into the Thursday game. Webb just didn't have it early. And so, again, Cliff goes to Wallace, his 3rd appearance of the year. Kind of a risky move there. We do know Colby's going to throw strikes. He gives up a couple fluke hits. We talked about it on Friday's show, but ends up slamming the door. 8 hits, though, over 3 games. That'll play. Grady Linehan, I thought, absolutely crushed the ball all weekend long. He finished with 3 hits on Thursday. Also had a really good game Saturday, and then even Friday smoked the ball. Didn't have much to show for it, but I thought just kind of really set the tone at the top of the lineup. And overall, just tough at bats from the offense, man. Just really tough at bats. Even when they didn't get hits, they grinded. They fouled off a lot of pitches. This was like old school Pirate baseball. This was championship caliber baseball. So I thought that made a difference. And the other thing was the starting pitching. Spencer Scott's in the chat here. He's got the numbers. Ethan Norby, 6 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run, 10 Ks. Ryan Towers, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 4 Ks, no earned runs, I should say. Luke Payne, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 6 Ks, and he adds Brett Antolic and Thomas Paxton coming back. Was huge, need them for the postseason. And I tell you what, man, Luke Payne, I'm not going to count on this every time out, but the one thing I do know, and after listening to him post-game, Philip, is that Luke Payne is most comfortable as a starter. He has not looked good as a reliever this year. And there are times he's been shaky as a starter, but if I pulled the numbers, I'm sure they're pretty glaring. But commanding the baseball, I know you were on the road Saturday, so you weren't able to see this. He mixed in, he had 3 legit pitches. Fastball, changeup, slider. And he had command of all of them. 0 walks, 6 Ks. It pitched 5 innings. Pitch count was 58, I believe, after 5 innings. So it was just like efficiency. And again, I'm not going to count on this going into a conference tournament, but I do know he can at least start a game, give you 3-4 solid innings, maybe more if he has it. But I think you have 3 set starters going into the tournament. And a month ago, with the injuries, we had Norby, and that was it. So credit Towers and Payne here for stepping up.
Credit them. Credit the coaching staff. Look, man, like you said, Luke Payne, there's been a couple blimps on the radar. Why? Well, because he's human, and he's not going to be perfect every time you run him out there. But I'm willing to die on the Luke Payne hill because Luke Payne is going to compete, Luke Payne is going to throw strikes, and Luke Payne is going to go down giving it his all. And he is not the most talented player on this team. He is not the most talented arm on this roster, but, he's shown, and it goes back to that first start was that the Thursday night against Charlotte, I believe, was his first start?
So, yes.
That he will do whatever's asked of him, and he's going to compete. And you know what? If we go into this thing on Sunday, and that is our 3rd game, and it is somebody else's 4th game, or their 5th game, and Luke Payne's our guy, I feel good about it. And you know what? If we lose, well, you know what? We wouldn't have been there without Luke Payne. So I can live with that.
Very well said. Very well said. All right, so we'll get more to the bracket later this week, but we do know, Philip, that it'll be a 9 a.m. start for Friday. This means watch along, and we need some sort of breakfast sponsor. I think Brady Thomas was already asking in the chat who our breakfast sponsor is going to be. Shout out Brett from Subdogs. He offered to buy us breakfast because he's that good of a dude. I'm not going to ask him to do that. So if we have to, we'll go out and we'll buy. I'll just get some biscuits or something from a local establishment. But if you are partnered with a breakfast restaurant, we can give you guys free shout outs. It's going to be, look, our watch longs have done pretty good numbers in the past, Philip. So I think I'm excited about this, man. Like, I'm not a morning person like you. I stay up late and watch a lot of sporting events. My wife gets angry when I do that, but that's just part of being a sports guy. And I'm excited for breakfast and baseball, man. I'm jacked up for Friday.
I am too. I'm hoping I'm part of the watch along. I got to get that all figured out. Is James going to be in? So I know it's you and James.
James is coming in, and
okay.
we've got Kason Rameli is joining us tomorrow. I'm going to ask him I think 9 a.m. may be tough for him to make, but I'm going to put some pressure on him, see if he can get here, and we'll see. But, yeah, right now we got me and James, and I guess Lane Smith is going to flake out as well.
That's what I was told. I was told he was going to watch it by the pool. Those were Birdie told me that's what Lane told him. So I can let those two duke it out if there's false information given to me. I'm going to go on a limb and say that me or Dom Kasulki will be a part of it. We just got to figure out who's producing the game. Fingers crossed, me nor Dom is producing. But we could even do a, if it's one of those things where me or Dom has to do it, maybe we do an inning in, inning out. I produce, he comes in for the watch along, and then we swap off because I think Dom will be here. We're working him this weekend with it being conference tournament weekend and, me going to the race Saturday, Sunday. So somebody else will be in here with you.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, and we will have giveaways. We always give away Hoist the Colors subscriptions, so stay tuned and lock in for that. We'll continue to announce it throughout the week. But yeah, watch along, 9 a.m. Friday, and that will lead presumably into Hoist the Colors, the radio show, and so we'll be on the air on our social channels for the watch along, and then we'll do some sort of show depending on when the game wraps. After that, we'll have to figure all that out. But hey, that's why we love doing this, man. Live radio. We'll figure it out as it comes, and we're here for the reactions. So we got to get a break in. Let's do that. Cliff Godwin, he'll join us next from Florida. We'll catch up with Coach and see what's happening in between the end of the regular season and the tournament, and also get an update on Colby Weber. Could he return for the conference tournament? We'll ask that and a whole lot more. This is Hoist the Colors on a Monday.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Hoist the sail!
Climb aboard as we set sail and hoist the colors.
Ahoy, me hearties!
Back to Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome into Hoist the Colors on a Monday. It's time for our weekly visit with East Carolina head baseball coach Cliff Godwin. Pirates off a 3-game sweep and winning a share of the regular season championship as a result, tying along with UTSA with a 17-10 regular season record. And Coach Godwin, first off, welcome in. Secondly, welcome back into the show, and just congrats on the championship, man. Regular season share, and congrats on the sweep. Just your thoughts on how your team played this week.
Yeah, we played great. We wanted to come in here and control our own destiny, which we did. Really going in, we weren't worried about sharing a regular season title. It was all about us playing good team baseball, being with one another. And I've said this a lot to the guys over the past 2 weeks. Look, your individual stats are what they are. They're not going to change a lot with the body of work that you have put in, good or bad. And if you can just lean into one another and play team baseball, then we'll have a shot. And I really thought they did a good job of that. I mean, you could see us platooning some guys versus righties and lefties, and that worked out well for us with Bachman and Kalinich and Boucher and Irby. So we're going to continue to do that, get as many guys out there and keep guys excited. But I thought the dugout was awesome. I thought our pitching was awesome. I thought we played great defense. I just thought it was really, really good brand of ECU baseball.
I know you mentioned, Coach, after maybe it was the sweep on 94.3 The Game with Coach O, that you just felt like the synergy was there. Was that something you noticed going into the series, or was it after y'all picked up a win or two? Just when did you start to get a vibe there from your team really being tight-knit this week?
Normally you can kind of sense it just the way they're interacting with one another. We have shown it at times. It's just been very inconsistent throughout the regular season. And look, this team's been through a lot, man. And, I was telling Coach Gotro, we took the staff out to dinner on Saturday night. And as I told JJ, I saved the East Carolina's budget because I paid for it on my American Express card, not East Carolina's card. So, but we've won a lot of these, but this one is as special as any of them because, in 2019, no offense, we were just better than people. You got Jake Agnos, Bryant Packard, Franny, Brickhouse. I mean, Jake Washer, you got some dudes running out there. And not that we don't have dudes, but it's definitely a different team than what we started the season with. And I'm just proud how they hung together because in the landscape of college athletics, people that are not in it every day, when it goes south, it can go south very, very quickly, and it can be to the point where you can't recover, and this group hung in there.
Visit with Cliff Godwin Monday, visit with Coach. And Coach, obviously, we'll talk about the offense in a minute, but the starting pitching, I mean, all weekend long, really kept FAU off balance, pounded the strike zone. I know Ryan had a little bit of command issues on Friday or Thursday, but worked through it. And just for him, Norby, Luke Payne to do what they did, give you length, give you strikes. I mean, just what can you say about those three?
Yeah, they were tremendous. I saw that, we put out a graphic with our starting pitching and what they did. But tremendous, obviously, when you're a little bit thinner in the bullpen than you were 2 months ago. Every out, every inning that you can get from somebody matters. And I thought our guys were awesome.
When you look at Luke Payne specifically, Coach, it's just obviously the stuff is there. I mean, does it really just kind of come down to command? And because if he's in the zone, I don't know if he's gotten that many swings and misses all year, but that just kind of showed you when he's throwing strikes, he's obviously got great stuff.
Yeah, well, he would be frustrated with me at times, because we'd have a big offensive inning, and then he'd go out there and walk, a guy on 4 pitches, and we'd take him out of the game. I said, hey, dude, if you give up a home run, I'm probably keeping you in the game, but we just put up a 6 spot, and you walk the leadoff guy. We got to get somebody else. And that was the thing I was most proud about him on Saturday's outing, because there were some long half innings in there. We were scoring runs, and he just kept filling up the strike zone. And to me, that's the best that he's ever pitched at East Carolina because he was in the zone, he was ahead of hitters, and even after the long half innings, he was still dialed in.
Coach, offensively, it just felt like y'all had a ton of, Pirate ABs, tough at-bats, guys, even if they were getting out, they were fouling off pitches. And just what was your assessment of the offense overall?
Yeah, it was awesome. I really thought we played team offense. Was actually, talking to one of my mentors last night who is coaching at a big school, and you can look at a stat sheet, you can look at numbers, but when your team is playing team offense, and I thought we did a really good job of that this weekend, and made it really, really hard on their pitchers. I mean, their starting pitcher on Thursday, man, he's got really good stuff, and at times he made us kind of look stupid, but we hung in there. We got him out of the game in 5 innings from the standpoint he got his pitch count up. So for me, that's team offense, getting a really good arm out of the game in the 5th inning.
Cliff Godwin with us, and Pirates getting ready for the conference tournament, and different format this year, Coach. And we haven't really had a chance to talk about it too much, but I know you had been an advocate in the past of, hey, if you have a really good regular season, should get some reward going into the tournament. It feels like this year is kind of the first season of that. So what's your thoughts on this conference tournament postseason format, and do you fully understand it yet? Because I saw the bracket, and there's a lot going on there, but I guess you've got a pretty good read on it at this point.
I got a pretty good read on when we're playing. We play Friday at 9, so that's a good thing because we've earned some time off, and that was my biggest argument with the conference, with coaches. I mean, you never were protecting the 1 seed or the 2 seed in your conference, and up until this year, if you go back the last 6 years, the number 1 seed in the conference has had the ability to host a regional. So why would you have them playing on Tuesday when they're going to throw, if they have a number 4 starter, on Tuesday versus the 8 seed, when the 8 seeds held their number 1 to be fresh? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And there has to be a reward for the regular season mattering. So I'm super pumped that the coaches, and all of us could get together and make it a better tournament, because it just wasn't fair for the teams that were earning the 1 seed. And look, we didn't win the regular season last year, so it wasn't like, hey, just Coach Godwin wants East Carolina to. It's whoever wins the regular season, and UTSA should have got a bigger break last year instead of having to play on Tuesday.
It'll be a 9 a.m. start. Do you kind of like just waking up, eating breakfast, going and playing some baseball on Friday?
Oh, it's better than playing the second or third game of the day when you don't really know what time, and you get there and you have to sit around. So I don't mind having the first game of the day. Obviously, it produced some challenges getting them up early and all that good stuff. But if you can't be ready to play in postseason baseball, we got problems to worry about.
I'll let you get your earpiece back in,
Yeah,
Coach.
Sorry. Yeah.
No, all good, man. And it's obviously some time off this week, and how do you balance that as a coach, as far as, keeping them on edge, getting them ready, but also giving that, y'all played a long season. Y'all are going to be in the hot sun this week. So how do you just find that balance as a coach, try to get them game ready or keep them game ready, but also giving them a break?
Yeah, yesterday we just lifted weights. We did not practice yesterday. They had most of the afternoon off, took them out to a really nice Italian dinner last night, because of what they did in the classroom with this 3.74 overall team GPA, 15 guys having a 4.0. So we did that. We're going to go over to FAU this morning, and we're going to practice as soon as we get off the Zoom with you guys. And tonight we're actually taking them to the Marlins game, so we can get to see Clayton and Connor tonight. And then tomorrow morning we'll get up and do some stuff. It'll be light. And then we'll get on a bus and go to Clearwater. It's about 4 hours and some change to get to Clearwater from here. So, but just being together and talking about, hey, man, it's only helpful when you got time off if you are taking care of yourselves, if we're hydrating, we're doing breathing stuff, which we did last year, and we're mandating that, and just being around the guys and enjoying it. Look, man, I told them last night, I said, you're not going to remember anything you were looking at on your cell phone 5 years from now during this week, but you'll remember the conversation that you had with your teammate. So have intentional conversations, body recovery, getting with Hunter, our athletic trainer, and Kevin Youngs, who's with us, and just becoming as fresh as we can be heading into Friday.
Coach, I want to hit on a few guys coming back from injury, and obviously Grady's been back a few weeks now, but it just felt like, he was stinging the ball all weekend. Even in the second game of the series, he smoked a couple balls, didn't have results from it. But just what do you see from Grady? Is he getting his timing back, obviously, with the way he swung the bat?
Grady's special, and I think when you put things in perspective, and Grady and I were talking about this in the dugout after Saturday's game. Most of the guys had cleared out, and it was Bach and Grady and myself. And I said, Grady, I'm super proud of you, man. I said, last night you freaking smoked the ball every at bat, had nothing to show for it. And then you come back today like you had 4 hits. I said, I don't know if that would have happened 2 months ago. And he goes, no, I wouldn't have, Coach. He goes, and he had told me this, but obviously having the shoulder injury, and then as soon as he gets back on the field, he gets hit with a fastball. He says, Coach, every day's an opportunity for me to play baseball, and I'm just so thankful that I'm able to get out here and play again. And it's a very mature just approach from a freshman. And I'm just very, very thankful that he is taking that perspective, because it's not easy to have 2 injuries within a week, and one needing surgery. And, he's going to have surgery on that left shoulder when the season's over. So he's been through a lot, but, man, he has been a spark for us, and he's played great.
And Brett Antolic we saw get back on the mound in the finale, Coach, and it took him maybe a couple batters to really hone in after such a long break. But what did you see from Brett out there?
Yeah, stuff, is good. The one thing is he hasn't been out there a lot, and he had thrown to a couple hitters, not much, like 3 or 4 batters in the middle of the week, last week on the field. But, every time out, I think you're going to see a better version of himself just the more he can get out there. But he's feeling good, and that's the most important part.
And then I know you guys were hoping maybe to get Colby Weber back this week. Is that a possibility at all, Coach, at this time?
Actually, Colby is done for the year. So we were ramping him up, and he's, still feeling some stuff. So he's done for the year.
Okay. And any update on how Sean's surgery went? Sean Jenkins, I know he was supposed to have his procedure last week, I believe.
Yeah. Sean's surgery was last Tuesday. It went very well. Actually, Sean's going to meet us down at the conference tournament this week. So we're excited to see him. But he's doing good, and he's in good spirits.
And I wanted to ask a little bit, I know you mentioned earlier the platoon situation with Boucher, Irby, Bachman, and Kalinic. And you haven't been shy about going to those guys off the bench like in the 3rd, 4th inning. And obviously, there could be different matchups later in the game, but just kind of striking when the first opportunity is there. And talk about maybe that chess match a little bit, Coach, where you're trying to play the matchups, the advantages that early in the game, and go for it, obviously.
Well, with all the injuries we've had on the mound, we still have a deep bench on the position player side. And actually, Carlos Hakame's, wrist tendon, whatever was bothering him a whole lot, he was able to get a shot, and he has actually been swinging the bat. So it's just given us more versatility on the position player side. And I think it just goes into the team aspect of like, hey, man, we don't care what you're doing individually, just help the team win. And if that's Bach DHing versus lefties, and Michael DHing versus righties, and Boo playing versus lefties, and Irby playing versus righties, I think you just got to lean into it. And it worked out well for us this weekend. I think the DH role was very, very productive for us this weekend. So just want the guys to continue to do that and continue to have quality at bats.
All right, Cliff Godwin, I can't let you go without asking. The people want to know, once y'all get to Clearwater, will there be any time on the beach for the players? I got to ask this every year. Do they get any time this year?
All the stuff that you ask, I go, I didn't think that's where you were going with that. But actually, Braden McLam called me yesterday. It was actually coming from Emily's cell phone. And I'm like, why is Emily McLam calling me? And Braden was like, hey, Coach, do you remember what you said at the banquet? And I was like, no, Braden, I really don't. She goes, well, you said if they finish in the 1 or 2 hole that they could have some beach time. And I said, well, if I said that, Braden, I will make sure they get an hour beach time, and they will get it on Wednesday, but they will not get any beach time on Thursday because we play at 9 a.m. on Friday. So they have earned 1 hour on Wednesday.
I think that's
we need fresh bodies, I go. Yeah, we need fresh bodies for the rest of it, because we don't have any off days. Like, that's the difference. When you don't play until Friday, you're going to play straight through. So we need them to be rested. So, but we'll let them get an hour on Wednesday.
No doubt. And 9 a.m. they gotta be rested, ready to go. Well, hey, Coach, we appreciate the time, man, and making time for us down in Florida. Enjoy a few days off, at least from playing yourself, and hopefully we see Connor and Clayton get a W for you as well with y'all in the ballpark. But appreciate the time, man.
All right. Thanks, Igo. Appreciate it.
That is Cliff Godwin, ECU baseball coach, joining us as he always does every Monday throughout the season. We'll get a break in. We'll come back. We'll continue on Hoist the Colors after this.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health. Which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leyva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice agency.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
In Eastern North Carolina, people appreciate things that are straightforward, honest, and dependable. For decades, our team has focused on cutting through insurance complexity for the communities we serve. And now, we're bringing that same mindset to our name. We're Flatlands Insurance Group, a simpler name that reflects the same local team, the same values, and the same commitment to the great communities we feel blessed to be a part of. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world is covered.
Make every day electric on the Kawasaki Electro 20 electric balance bike. Maximize the fun with long run times, impressive top speed, and Kawasaki build quality. Easy adjustability and smooth handling make everyday riding more enjoyable. And the standard MTB type tires provide off-pavement capability. The Kawasaki Electro 20 is the electric balance bike that's built to rip. Go to Ron Ayers Motorsports, Memorial Drive north of the airport, Greenville.
Inner Banks Media presents the return of Concert on the Common.
This year, we're live from the tailgate lot at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Coming up May 21st, Trial by Fire, a tribute to Journey.
Join us Thursday, May 21st for Trial by Fire at the new Tailgate Plaza next to Town Bank Tower at Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium.
Details at concertonthecommon.org.
Welcome back in. Hoist the Colors on a Monday. It's May 18th. Segment 3 here. We just talked with Cliff Godwin. And shout out to our social media team for sharing some video clips on our 94.3 The Game Twitter page. Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studios. We're trying to up our social media game, Philip. So give the intern some credit who helped you put these together.
Yeah, Mary helped me put it all together. So she got in. Obviously, I think people know we recorded that interview earlier in the day. And so Mary and I got in about 11. Well, I was here before, but she got in about 11 and helped me with all this.
Way to go, Mary. And look forward to more of our social media presence on our 94.3 The Game pages. We'll continue to ramp that up. We're getting geared up for football season. This is our practice round as we're going to do a lot more social media stuff along with this show just to get our clips out there and a whole lot more going into football season. All right. By the way, Lane Smith did say in the chat that he's good for the watch along. So if we're willing to allow Lane Smith in at 9 a.m. Now, Lane, are you going to be able to hold your tongue? I mean, some profanity may be allowed because we're not going to be on the radio airwaves, but we can't be just losing our minds.
Yeah, especially because it's not like a Tuesday, even more so because
Yeah.
it's not like a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock like that. Like, there are people here working, and there could be clients walking in and out of the building for the other stations. So we've actually got to even be maybe more monitored than we would even normally be.
So, Lane, as long as you can promise to behave, we'll let you join us, and we'll let you in. So let us know if you're too worried about it, then maybe not. But he says yes, no bad word. So let's give it a shot.
All right, we'll see you on a Friday morning, Lane.
We'll have a good time with it. We need some entertainment value, anyways. I mean, we need some true emotions added to it. So, all right, ECU in the at-large picture helped itself a lot this week, up 7 spots in the RPI from where they were heading into the weekend. They were at 46 last night. Somehow they got up to 45. I don't know who's been messing with the numbers, Philip, but ECU now up to 45 in RPI. 44 national strength of schedule, 29 non-conference strength of schedule, and now a co-champion regular season title. So my first question is, what does this mean? And I'll try my best to answer. I'll get your take on it as well, Philip. But like when you're going through a team's at-large resume, you just need something to it. And ECU, unfortunately, doesn't have a ton on its resume. I mean, you look at it, they're 3-7-1 quad 1. They're 3-4-0 quad 2. Now they're 28-0 quad 3. And this is why I hate these quads, Philip, because look, FAU is 121 in the RPI right now. If they were one spot higher, that quad 2 record would be 6-4 versus 3-4. I don't think that moves the needle but so much, but that is something that you probably want FAU to win that first round game in Clearwater to help that record. But I mean, the main thing you have on your resume now is a regular season championship. Recognized as a co-champion or not, it still counts. You're still recognized as a champion. And the other thing you have is a series split with probably a top 2-3 team, North Carolina. Yeah, I think they've only lost one series this year. And outside of that, there's not a ton. So, I mean, just to have something else on the resume, and I do feel like the committee in recent years has valued regular season champions. Yeah, it's not going to get you an automatic bid, but if you're on the bubble and you're the regular season champion of the 6th best league, I believe. Let me double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, the 6th best league. I think that matters, especially, Philip, when John Gilbert is sitting in the room. Like, I know he's supposed to recuse himself when East Carolina is brought up, and he probably does. I'm not saying John's doing anything shady, but the reality is, like, when he's in the room, all the other ADs are going to know that ECU's AD is on the committee. The last thing they want to probably do, humans are involved here, is shut his team out. So, like, if ECU's on the board and they have an argument and they have a championship beside their name, regular season, hopefully a tournament too, but obviously in the at-large discussion, I think that matters more so than not having a share.
No, 100% does. And we know that they've done that in the past, and that's great. As for us not having much on our resume, Steven, Coach Palumbo did a phenomenal job making this schedule, as he always does. And we still have a really tough out-of-conference strength of schedule. But somehow, some of the tough teams he scheduled to just not pan out to be tough teams. Duke, sitting as the 16 seed right now in the ACC. NC State, I believe the 9 seed right now in the ACC. Good job, Coach, scheduling the Coastal Series. Unfortunately, you go 1 and 2. Great job scheduling the Carolina Series. Unfortunately, you go 1-1-1. So it's just, oh my goodness. It was like the teams we took. Well, I guess we didn't take care of some of those other teams. But if Duke would have been a little better, State would have been a little better. It's like, could it have even helped us that much more? But so this is the one thing we've got to fall back on is the regular season championship, Stephen, because despite the job that Coach did, it didn't pan out as pretty as it possibly could have. And no, then you don't play the Campbell game late in the season. They're 60-ish in the RPI. So I don't know, man. It can't hurt. Nothing you do successfully can hurt you. Well, except for win games against the RPI, because that can hurt you. You can get punished for showing up. But Yeah, man, it's just like, what has this team done in the eyes of the committee? Like, is that enough? Is the conference championship enough? I don't think it is if they lose 2 games this week. I think if they go 2-0 and then get beat Sunday, maybe. But you lose 2 games this week, man, that's going to be tough. That RPI is going to start with a 6. There's only 64 teams that get into this thing. There's going to be a lot of teams from mid-majors below 60 that obviously get automatic qualifying spots.
So we'll get more into this discussion later this week, but it is one of those things where you really do. If you want ECU, if you want to take out we have to win the tournament, which like obviously ECU's going there with the goal to win the tournament to make it simple and control their own destiny, as Coach Godwin has said. But like it's hard to go out and win a conference tournament. So like even with ECU having the advantage of being the number 2 seed, if you get to Sunday, like Philip said, it's a winner take all. It's one game. You have one bad inning, you're not going to win the title. So like you want to put yourself in the position to get the at-large. I do think if they get to Sunday, they've got a good shot. The one thing I also like, not starting play till Friday, is Philip, is there's going to be a lot of teams eliminated before Friday. And the further you play into the week, the more you're on the committee's mind. So, like, they're not even going to be able to consider really ECU technically eliminating them, unless they go 0-2 Friday right out of the gate. Because if you lose Friday, you play later that afternoon in an elimination game. But, I mean, I think you at least make it a Saturday. If you go 1-2, you don't feel good. If you go 2-2, you feel okay. If you make it to Sunday, I think you feel good. But the rest of the bubble matters. What happens around you matters. And if you're looking for somebody to pull against, Johnny Stats made a good point in the chat. NC State right now, one of the last teams in, D1 projected field of 64. ECU is the next to last projected team in right now. So you want to pull for NC State, which plays Duke. And that's a single elimination tournament, isn't it? The ACC tournament?
Yeah, you want to be
you want to pull for
Blue Devils.
NC State to lose. I mean, if they lose, they're probably out. If you lose a 16 seed Duke, I think if they win a game or two, they probably feel decent. The other factor, Virginia Tech's another bubble team. They're just ahead of State in the projected field. You want to pull for Virginia Tech to lose. I'm not sure who they play. The other teams to keep an eye on, the Southern Conference tournament, Mercer undoubtedly has an at-large resume. You want them to win the Southern tournament. Also in the Big South, High Point, if they didn't win the tournament, they would be on the bubble. You ideally want High Point to win the Big South tournament. And you also want, I just had the other one here. Miami of Ohio to win the MAC. Miami of Ohio has an at-large resume as well. Those are the 3 leagues. In an ideal world, those 3 teams win their leagues. Otherwise, you're talking about, 1, 2, 3 stolen bids. And no, you don't want any bottom teams from the Big 12, ACC, Big 10, SEC winning the conference tournament. That's where you're going to get your stolen bids from. So ECU, one of the last projected teams in now, going into the tournament, those are the things you want to keep an eye on. And obviously ECU, if you win and you keep winning, I think you're going to have a good shot to get in by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the other tough thing about this is ours being double, other teams being single, right? So if you lose twice, how bad does that hurt you? At this point, does the committee say, okay, we're only taking wins into consideration, you stack wins, congratulations? Or are they saying, oh, every loss is bad? Because if every loss is bad, what if you do make the conference championship game, but you lose earlier? Yeah, you might end up with another win in there, but you also now have another loss in there. Or are you better off just going 2-0 and then getting beat in the championship game? There's a scenario where we play 5 games, Steven. We could go 3-2 in that. Is that good? I don't know, right? Especially if what happens if State just goes 1-1? Okay, we take care of business against Duke, and then they lose to whoever the 8th seed is. I don't even know. That's the tough thing. And we were talking to Shane Winkler one time. It was off the record officially conversation, but it was just like, why doesn't the softball tournament do double elimination? He said he thinks because they don't want to stack a pair of losses against the bubble teams, which is understandable. I mean, I get it. So, yeah, I don't know, man. That's the tough thing.
The good news is we're having this discussion because ECU has played itself back onto the bubble. Of course, we wish we wouldn't be here in the first place, but compared to where we felt after the Rice series loss, this is a positive development. I've got a few more notes I want to hit on the bubble discussion. Also, a question from the chat I want to ask Philip, and we'll discuss it more in depth later this week. But we'll go ahead and get the conversation started. We'll get our final break in. We'll come back, wrap up the show after this.
The power of savings is yours at Greenville Toyota with powerful deals on our huge selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or the all-new RAV4, $279. Don't miss the power of savings at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken, or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
With new Toyota trucks from $259 a month, you've got the power of savings at Greenville Toyota. Drive Tacomas $259 a month or Tundras only $399 a month at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Pirates play here.
Time to play the game.
This is Hoist the Colors with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Segment here. We got all week to get into this discussion, especially with ECU not playing until Friday. But one thing I did want to point out in the at-large picture is how much does the committee use things besides RPI this year? The Diamond Sports rankings and also KPI. They keep saying they're going to use these metrics more than RPI, which is a metric, but a flawed one in many regards. And all metrics are somewhat flawed. So if Philip Pilkin, as he rejoins us, if the committee decides this year, which, I mean, history says they're just going to go off RPI because I feel like that's just what they always default to. But ECU is number 36 in the DSR and 32 in the KPI. Those are pretty safe numbers to get in. And those numbers are what they are because they take into account margin of victory, and all the run rule victories would play in ECU's favor. So, again, maybe John Gilbert's on the committee being like, hey, guys, maybe we should go KPI this year, DSR. So, like, I don't know, man. They probably default to RPI, but if they want to make the argument, at least that would go in ECU's favor.
No, and they should, man. Like, if you beat William and Mary by one run, is that the same as run William and Mary? No. And, it's the same reason that if you go back, oh my goodness, it's almost been 20 years. With Boise State, they would be ranked, 4 or 5 in the country in football because they were, it was like Kellen Moore was getting pulled midway through the third quarter. So, like, the AP was like, oh, Boise's they're way better than New Mexico State, right? So, I mean, I think margin of victory is a huge part of sports. I mean, you can't help who you play, but when good teams beat bad teams badly.
I mean, it's like 12 or 13 run rule victories for ECU this year, which is crazy. All right, I'm going to propose this question to you. We can get more to it this week. Game 1 starter of the tournament. Johnny Stats points out if Norby starts Friday, he may be able to get a few outs if needed on Sunday. I still think that's too short of a turnaround, but you never know in a tournament format. Towers or Norby, you can go either one here. Do you have an early opinion?
Hey, Towers has been working. It's been Towers Norby for the last month. Just don't get cute with it. The last thing this team needs to do is try and get cute.
I lean Towers as well. And the one thing, again, not to look ahead, but one of the reasons I lean Towers is A, he's been comfortable in that role, but B, if you face UTSA in that Saturday game, he did throw his yes hitter, as he put it, against the Roadrunners, whereas Norby dominated UTSA in their one time seeing him this year. All right, we are out of time. For more of this discussion, tomorrow we're going to have Braxton Bodorf and Casey Romaley from Carolina Curveball. Those guys know so much more about what's going on outside of ECU. Obviously, they got their ECU perspective as well. They will join us to give their take on the at-large picture and conference tournament season arriving. We can kind of sit back and see how the rest of the tournaments unfold earlier this week. And then tonight, we will have Bucks on the Pond, Scott Lorbacher, and Jonathan Wagner. That'll be 9 o'clock on the Hoist the Colors YouTube page, so stay tuned for that. Those guys will have a lot more insight, too. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Appreciate Philip Pilkington, intern Mary. Great work as well. And thanks to Cliff Godwin for the interview. We'll be back. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 12 noon.